Okay, good morning once again. As you know, this retreat is on the Noble Eightfold Path. So, Noble Eightfold Path, these 8 steps are made into 3 categories: Sila, Samadhi, Panya. We discussed Panya category. What falls into the Panya category? Right understanding and right thinking, right thought. These 2 are in wisdom category. Panya means wisdom. And then we spoke on right speech, right action. Today we are going to talk on right livelihood. These 3 falls into the category of sila, morality. The last 2, right effort, right last 3, right effort, right concentration, right mindfulness fall into concentration category. This is how this Noble Eightfold Path put into 3 categories in Chula Vedala Sutta. Chula Vedala Sutta in Madhyama Nikaya. So this categorization is not done casually. They are categorized with very precise system, a method. Because as you know, Buddha's entire teaching we can put into 4 categories, 3 categories, 5 categories, and so forth. This is like a tripod, just like this tripod. The entire teaching rests on these 3. So we normally say morality, concentration, and wisdom. But they are given in the list of 8 as wisdom, morality, and concentration. And therefore, each of them is equally important. We don't want to make the first category better than the second, or second better than the first and third. All these 4 categories, all these divisions are equally important. So you can see very precise method, system. Now, right livelihood is my topic today. That is the last of the 3 segments of right morality, sila. This is called Arya Kanta Sila, noble, shining morality. Morality, noble morality. Now, in these divisions, you have these numbers and steps which can make easy for anybody to practice, not necessarily the monastic, but lay people as well. For instance, the right livelihood, monastic can practice right livelihood, lay people can practice right livelihood. For the monastic, let me see, first for the lay people, for them, they have to work for their earning. That's for earning their living. And when they work, they have to choose a right job, right livelihood. So Buddhists, if you go to engage in a profession or certain occupation, that is moral and ethical, not immoral and unethical. In today's society, everything is interconnected. The whole world is one interconnected network. Whole world. There are businesses you do from home, you do certain job from home, that can affect the whole world, unlike in ancient time. So you have to select your job, even if you don't go drive every day in the morning to the office and come back home in the evening. You don't do that. Sometimes you simply sit in your home at the desk, use your computer and work. So the job has become so sophisticated, sometimes easier, sometimes very tricky. So you will wonder, what kind of job can I do which is in the line of Buddha's teaching? It aligns with the Buddha's teaching to fulfill my moral principles. And I have to answer my conscience. My work can sometimes directly or indirectly can harm someone, may not be very close to me, but somewhere else far away. Some people think twice when they invest their money in business. They think twice. Is this money used for something harmful? If they know that it is going to be used even by the government or the banks or investors, going to use this, my money, my energy, my skill for something very harmful, then you might hesitate to invest your money in certain business. There are certain business that directly or indirectly hurt you or somebody else. Now let us take the first lay people's precept. The basic minimum precept lay people are supposed to observe are the 5 precepts: abstaining from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying and using intoxicants. These are the 5 main basic precepts that lay people have to observe. So this should avoid any profession that involves killing, causing suffering, or exploiting others, such as butchers, arms dealing, slave trade. These are not Buddhists are supposed to do. And then, secondly, we will elaborate on these things a little further. And secondly, deception and dishonesty, engaging in activities that involves lying, cheating, deceitful practices, all these considered to be immoral, unethical. We are not supposed to engage in them. And then unethical products or service, that is a profession related to harmful substances like drugs, alcohol, toxic, harmful material. These are considered to be unethical, immoral, wrong livelihood. Then another violation of precept is if a profession involving activities that go against the 5 precepts as we mentioned earlier, that is immoral, unethical, and not supposed to practice. And then exploiting practices in the right livelihood also discourages engages in business that exploit people. Exploit people, taking advantage of people for making more profit. Now, suppose your workplace is hurting your physical health and detrimental to your mental health, that also is not kind of environment that you have to engage in. Suppose somebody living in certain area don't find any job except there is a factory that produces harmful products. maybe poisonous substance, guns, slaughterhouse, sometimes liquor. The factory owner doesn't care for people's health. You live in that area. There is no any other job for you to do. So you have to find a job for your survival and your support to your family. And you take a job in this place. But your intention, this important thing in Buddhism, intention. Your intention is not to hurt anybody, but you just want to have means to live and to support your family. Assuming that there is nothing else to do there. You don't have land to cultivate. You don't have any money to invest on business on your own. So you have to find a job in this particular factory. You accept the job, but you are not intending to hurt anybody, kill anybody. In this way, you can have that job without any hesitation. You know, there is when you talk about this, it occurred to me a story. You may think it is very silly, but the story is very important. It conveys the message of your intention. There was a woman who had attained the stream entry. You know, once you attain stream entry, you will never commit any unwholesome karma, any unwholesome karma. That will make you take birth in woeful, painful state of existence. You will not be born as an animal, ghost, goblins, and not go to hell and so forth once you attain stream entry. This woman was married to a hunter who used bows and arrows to kill animals. Since this woman was his wife, every day she had to make his meal and keep his bow and arrow ready for him to take them out and kill animals. When this was brought to the Buddha's attention, Buddha said, this woman is not committing or breaking any rules of ethics and moral. Why? She does not have an intention of killing, although she was just doing her duty. She had to do it. So Buddha said, Pānimmite vanonāsi in Pali, Hareya Pānināvisam, Nābbanam Visamanveti nati papam akupato. If you take poison into your hand, into your palm, if there is no wound in the palm, no wound in the palm, poison will not go into your bloodstream. You can handle poison. Similarly, if your conscience is very clear, you are not guilty of committing an offense. So the intention is the most important thing in choosing a right kind of job. As I mentioned, in this modern society, it is very, very difficult for you to find a job which does not have directly or indirectly some connection with something wrong, something unethical. It's very difficult. But you have to choose your own job, and you have to have a clear conscience that you are not directly, intentionally participating in the end product. That your intention is just to do the job. So, if we were to think of all these nitty-gritty details, it will be extremely difficult for you to choose a right job. So these are the basic things we have to keep in mind. So now with this, I must give you some hints to select right kind of job. So if something that make you addicted to certain things which is very harmful to your life, you should not engage in that when you select. It can cause harm to your life, it can cause harm to your family life, and that kind of jobs you have to know, you should not undertake. So, like becoming by selling and buying a poison, or selling and buying alcohol. You know for sure, even though you may not take alcohol or drugs, but when you know when you sell it to somebody, that person can abuse it, get intoxicated, and ruin that person's health, and destroy that person's family, and make it very harmful to that person's this life as well as in future life. Then the when we want to undertake a job, we have to, since as you mentioned, since things are so complicated today, but we can see at least the immediate result. Immediate result. Or within your own domain, you know for sure that when I do such and such a thing, this is going to happen, this harmful result will take place, and therefore I should not do that. But if you don't know what end product result is, then your intention is not in causing harm, and you remain clear. Moreover, you have to be very mindful. You must ask, when I do this job, how my practice of mindfulness going to be heard. I must be very mindful. I must answer my conscience. And therefore, we have to use our sort of research in order to keep our practice correct. And so, for the it can be sometimes very shaky. Sometimes people can persuade others by talking to do a wrong job. They know in their own mind what they are doing is wrong, and yet they do it because of their greed and confusion. For instance, lobbying, this is very common thing. Politicians, they are lobbying for certain political parties, certain political principles, but they know for sure what they do is not right. And therefore they hurt themselves, and eventually they hurt the society. And gambling as a gamblers think that they can earn quick money. At the same time, they destroy their life as well as people who participate in that profession, that job. Then cheating in business. Buddhist people are allowed ethically to do business, and they can morally, ethically can make profit. There's nothing wrong in making profit, provided they do it justly. But in order to get more profit, if they cheat in business, that is wrong livelihood. By measuring all kind of these days we hear all kind of inside business in banking and so forth, investing money and so forth. We hear people have, there are ways to trick people, robbing banks. There were scandaling in many places, and they can even make countries bankrupt by doing very mischievous banking system, banking business. We hear this very often. That is completely wrong. Some people show that they can give big interest and then ask you to invest money in that bank, but eventually they cannot give that kind of interest, and the investors lose all their money. That is very tricky, mischievous, wrong intention, and therefore that is a wrong livelihood, earning money dishonestly. It is as bad as gambling. And then our means of sustenance should not interfere with our spiritual practice, spiritual development. You know, this is why it is harmful, wrong livelihood is harmful. If we want to have a peaceful mind, if you want to meditate, when you sit on the cushion and try to meditate, your mind will be going haywire. You feel guilty, and then guilt keeps tricking your mind, your conscience. You cannot practice your meditation and simply trying to meditate, but you simply waste your time. Go to bed, you cannot sleep well because you always think of unethical, immoral things that you have done in pursuing your job. And we can assess whether a job qualifies as a skillful livelihood by means of 3-step inquiry. That is, if this hurt me, does it hurt others, or it hurts both? So we have to make this assessment when we select a job. At first level of inquiry, we examine whether a job is inherently harmful to others or to ourselves. So you know in your own mind that the job is not going to be beneficial to you or to others or to both. Then, second level, we consider whether a job causes us to break any of the 5 precepts. As I mentioned, there are 5 precepts, a basic precept for lay people to follow. At least we have to remember these 5 precepts, and then ask ourselves, is this job going to break one of these 5 precepts that I'm observing? And then at third level, ask whether the factors in it, the making the job difficult for the mind to attain, mind to settle down. If the mind is disturbing or you feel guilty, then you should not accept that job. And also you have to think of in a very compassionate way, in a living, friendly way. When you find a job, is it going to help me to practice my living friendliness? Directly or indirectly supporting killing, maiming, experimenting on animals. People are very cruel when they use animals for experiments. And if we are going to involve in that, that definitely is not going to help you to practice your metta, your compassion. No, compassion for animals. So many things can happen if you choose wrong livelihood. Then, if you don't have any malicious, wrong intention, the consequence will be peaceful state of mind while you are doing the job. While you are doing the job, after the job, even when you retire, you will not have guilt feeling. Whenever you think, all my life I have done such and such a job, and I was so honest and sincere, I was practicing living friendliness while I am working. So, therefore, skillful livelihood, right livelihood, wholesome livelihood can encompasses all your whole well-being, happiness, practice, and help your spiritual growth, spiritual practice. And therefore, right livelihood, as I mentioned, right livelihood, once selected correctly, can reduce our greed, hatred, and delusion. And right livelihood is another wholesome karma that would make your this life happy, your next life happy, and eventually you will never have any regret. And therefore, friends, it is very important for us to select. This is a very sensitive topic and difficult topic. And as I mentioned at my beginning of my talk, since today's world is so interconnected, choosing right livelihood is difficult on one hand. On the other hand, if our mind, our conscience is clear, intentions is clear, and since we don't know what will be happening to your as a result of your job, what will happen in the future, you don't know. And therefore, we have to keep our mind clean and clear. Intention should be clear, clean. With this intention, right intention. We mentioned right in the second step of the Noble Eightfold Path. Right intention is very important, even selecting good job. Right intention is important for speaking. Right intention is important for selecting job and for right action. And therefore, with the right intention, we have to select our job. And with this, I think you heard the bomb. We want to end this talk. And tomorrow I will speak on right mindfulness, right? Right mindfulness, which will be another extremely important part of this retreat. And have a very wonderful day.